welcome back to the English Booster podcast, where we do our best to combine business with pleasure and take your English or even business English to the next level. And speaking of business English, today we're going to talk about something very common, and that is asking people for help or for something to be done. And, very often my clients start almost every request with the same phrase, could you? Could you send it to me? Could you check this? Could you help me with this? And now, don't get me wrong, there is nothing incorrect about it, right? But if you use the same phrase over and over again, it starts to sound a bit, repetitive. And in business English, having a few alternative ways to actually phrase requests can make you sound more natural and more professional, okay? So today I'll show you 6 alternatives, 6 expression structures that you can use instead of could you do something. So as always, I will ask you to translate a few sentences from Polish into English so that these new synonyms get stuck in your mind. So without further ado, let's kick off, shall we? So the first alternative would be, would you mind? Dosłownie, czy miałbyś coś przeciwko, żeby coś zrobić? But to be honest, if I were you, I wouldn't really get attached to this Polish translation, czy miałbyś coś przeciwko. I would just memorize it as a synonym for could you, czy mógłbyś, okay? And the structure is as follows. Would you mind doing something, okay? So we have this gerund form, this ing ending. So let's paraphrase, could you help me with this issue by means of this new structure? And that would be simply, would you mind helping me with this issue? Okay, repeat after me. Would you mind helping me with this issue? And now one more sentence for you to be translated, okay? So I'm gonna give you the Polish sentence and you just translate it aloud. Go ahead. Czy mógłbyś sprawdzić ten raport do piątku? Czy mógłbyś sprawdzić ten raport do piątku? Okay, and the answer? Would you mind checking this report by Friday? Would you mind checking this report by Friday? Okay, and remember, by Friday. Whenever you're talking about deadlines, it's by, not till. Okay, another alternative. And this one is a slightly softer, more polite version of could you, okay? And we are simply adding this possibly adverb here. So, could you possibly, okay? Could you possibly help me with this issue? Could you possibly help me with this issue? So let's come up with another sentence for you to translate, okay? Czy mógłbyś może przedyskutować ten temat z klientem? Czy mógłbyś może przedyskutować ten temat z klientem? Go ahead, translate the sentence. Okay, so the answer, could you possibly discuss this topic, this matter with the client? Could you possibly discuss this topic with the client? And remember, it's discuss something. We never add discuss about something, okay? It's always discuss something. So could you possibly discuss this topic, this matter with the client? Okay, alternative expression number 3. I was wondering if. Dosłownie zastanawiałam się, czy mógłbyś. Very natural and very polite. Example, I was wondering if you could help me with this issue. I was wondering if you could help me with this issue. And by the way, remember, the pronunciation is I was wondering, wonder, okay? Not wondering, okay? It's wondering. I was wondering if you could help me with this issue. Okay, your turn. Translate the sentence. Czy mogłabyś rzucić okiem na tę prezentację? Czyli dosłownie zastanawiałam się, czy mogłabyś rzucić okiem na tę prezentację. Go ahead. Okay, ready? So the key would be, I was wondering if you could take a look at this presentation. I was wondering if you could take a look at this presentation. So again, instead of saying, could you take a look at this presentation? You can just say, I was wondering if you could take a look at this presentation. Okay, number 4. I'd appreciate it if you could. I would appreciate it if you could. And again, dosłownie, byłabym wdzięczna, doceniłabym to, gdybyś. But again, here, let's not translate it literally, okay? Let's assume I'd appreciate it if you could is simply a synonym for could you, okay? So this phrase is very common in this professional communication and emails during meetings. Example, I'd appreciate it if you could help me with this issue. I would appreciate it if you could help me with this issue. And now another sentence for you to be translated. Czy mógłbyś podzielić się swoją opinią na temat tego rozwiązania? Czy mógłbyś podzielić się swoją opinią na temat tego rozwiązania? Czyli dosłownie byłabym wdzięczna, doceniłabym to, gdybyś mógł podzielić się swoją opinią na temat tego rozwiązania. Go ahead, translate the sentence. Okay, so the answer would be, I'd appreciate it if you could share your opinion on this solution. Or I'd appreciate it if you could share your feedback on this solution. And by the way, remember we say opinion on something and feedback on something. We can't say opinion about or feedback about this solution, okay? So I'd appreciate it if you could share your opinion, your feedback on this solution. And by the way, whenever you want to say byłabym wdzięczna gdybyś, it's actually more common to use this structure rather than I would be grateful if you could, okay? I would appreciate it if you could is much more common, I would say. Okay, number 5, the last but one. Ready? Would it be possible to? Dosłownie, czy byłoby możliwe, żeby? Very professional, very polite. Example, so let's paraphrase, could you help me with this issue? Into, would it be possible for you to help me with this issue? Would it be possible for you to help me with this issue? And now another sentence for you to translate. Czy mógłbyś nanieść zmiany na ten dokument do jutra? Czy mógłbyś nanieść zmiany na ten dokument do jutra? Czyli dosłownie, czy byłoby możliwe dla ciebie, żebyś naniósł zmiany? Czy mógłbyś nanieść zmiany na ten dokument do jutra? Go ahead. Okay, the answer. Would it be possible for you to make the changes to this document by tomorrow? So as you can see here, we are also adding, would it be possible for you to make the changes to this document by tomorrow? Because if I only said, would it be possible to make the changes to this document, that would mean I'm not really talking to any particular person. I don't really mean any particular person like you, like her. I'm just talking about it generally. But would it be possible for you, for her, for Kate to make the changes to this document by tomorrow refers to a specific person that is supposed to do that, okay? And now the last one, number 6. Would it be okay if? Dosłownie, czy byłoby okay, gdybyś coś zrobiła? And this is actually the second conditional here, which means that after if, we've got the past simple tense. Okay? So let's try to translate the following sentence. Czy byłoby okay, gdybyśmy przełożyli to spotkanie na przyszły tydzień? Go ahead. Czy byłoby okay, gdybyśmy przełożyli to spotkanie na przyszły tydzień? Okay, the answer. Would it be okay if we rescheduled the meeting? Or in other version, would it be okay if we moved the meeting to next week? Okay, so would it be okay if we rescheduled, if we moved the meeting? So we have this past simple, this ed ending after if, because this is the second conditional. Okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, so I hope that from now on you will be using all these 6 synonyms instead of good old could you do something. And my tip is, again, don't translate these structures literally, like byłabym wdzięczna gdybyś, zastanawiałam się czy mógłbyś. Just trying to treat them as synonym for could you, okay? So whenever you want to say, could you do this for me? Then try to evoke, try to recall the synonyms such as, I was wondering if you could do something, would you mind doing something, okay? So let's sum up the expressions we've learned today. Repeat after me, okay, aloud. That's the best way to practice the structures as well as your pronunciation. So the first one, would you mind helping me with this issue? Repeat. Number 2, could you possibly help me with this issue? Number 3, I was wondering if you could help me with this issue. I'd appreciate it if you could help me with this issue. Would it be possible for you to help me with this issue? And the last one, would it be okay if you help me with this issue? And if it's hard for you to memorize and use all these phrases right away, first just choose 2 or 3 of them, okay? Use them constantly at work and then gradually add new synonyms step by step, because it's not a matter of knowing as many synonyms as possible, but passively in your mind, so you know them, you understand them when somebody uses them, but when you want to actually use them in your conversations, they just somehow don't come to your mind naturally. Then it's much better to just have 3 of these synonyms being used actively in your conversations rather than just knowing all of them but passively in your mind and not use them in speaking. Okay, so don't forget to hit subscribe if you've enjoyed this episode, and by the way, do let me know what topics you'd be interested to hear next time in the next episodes. Cheers.